Hello and welcome to the Run Testers. My name's Nick. In this video we're going to be comparing the Nike Pegasus 41 and the Puma Velocity Nitro 3. So the Velocity Nitro and the Nike Pegasus are both mid-range cushion neutral shoes. They are daily trainers that offer pretty good value and sit below shoes like the Invincible or the Infinity in Nike's range than the Magnify and the Mag Max in Puma's range in terms of price. They have enough cushioning for easy runs but are also meant to be fairly versatile shoes that you can use for a wide range of daily training. The Puma is the cheaper shoe. It costs £110 or $130. The Pegasus 41 is £130 or $140. Puma's a little bit lighter. It's 283 grams or 10 ounces in my UK size 9, whereas the Pegasus is 291 grams or 10.3 ounces in the same size. You have a 10mm drop in the Nike and then an 8mm drop in the Puma. So with the Pegasus 41, you've now got a React X midsole that has two Air Zoom pods kind of embedded in that midsole under the heel and forefoot to add a little bit more pop. This React X is a new foam that Nike's been introducing over the past year or so that's a little bit more responsive than the standard React foam used in the past and also more eco-friendly. You have an engineered mesh upper with plenty of padding on the tongue and around the collar of the shoe with an internal heel counter there as well. Fairly breathable material used in the forefoot, but overall the upper is geared more towards comfort than being very lightweight. Then you have a waffle tread outsole with really good coverage over the forefoot and heel with just that little bit of exposed foam there. It's a nice durable thick material and offers good grip. You also get very good grip from the Puma. It's actually a standout feature on both of these shoes. You've got a Puma grip outsole on the Velocity Nitro. Again, very good coverage across the heel and forefoot of what is an exceptionally grippy material. You've got a dual density midsole with a layer of Puma's nitrogen infused nitro foam on top. That's a nitrogen infused TPEE foam. And then you've got an EVA layer beneath that, which is Pro Foam Light, Puma's Pro Foam Light foam. You have a mesh upper on the Puma with not much padding on the tongue, but loads around the heel of the shoe. There's an internal heel counter and there's some strips of Puma's power tape used on the upper as well to add a little bit more structure and support. When it comes to fit of these two shoes, I've got the same size in both, which is a UK 9. With both of these brands, that's a US 10. It's a size I normally have with both Nike and Puma, and both shoes fit me very well for length. I have enough room in the toe box, good hold around the heel and midfoot with no concerns about rubbing or anything like that at the back of the shoe. The Puma is certainly the more narrow shoe of the two, I would say, and it's got, especially in the forefoot, quite a torpedo-like fit. I have a narrow foot, so that suits me very well, but I would say the Nike has the more accommodating upper, and probably the more comfortable upper as well, with that extra padding on the tongue and the way your foot sits in it. It feels a bit more kind of spacious and luxurious compared to the Puma, which is a little bit more dialed in, but still very comfortable, especially if a narrower foot like me. Overall, I would say stick to your normal size with both shoes. On to the run test then, and I found these both very enjoyable daily trainers to use. They've got enough cushioning underfoot for nice relaxed runs, and then they have a little bit of versatility, a bit more so in the case of the Puma, I would say. The Pegasus 41 is obviously a very long running line. It's been around for 41 generations and a very popular shoe. And then the Velocity is a slightly newer shoe that I think comes into a similar area and has been doing a really good job of standing out within that area over the past 3 years. I've been a very big fan of Velocity since the first version, and that remains the case with Velocity Nitro 3. I just find it a very natural and easy shoe to get along with and run in at a range of paces. It ticks over very nicely. Despite the fact it's not a very rockered shoe, I find that I move very smoothly in it, and the dual density setup on the shoe really allows for a lot of versatility and comfort and just feels very nice to me at a range of paces. I think a key part of it for me is that it has got that quite narrow design and it ends up feeling quite lightweight and nimble on the foot as a result. Like, it's not an exceptionally light shoe, but it feels very light and it turns over really nicely. I'm a high cadence runner with a narrow foot and it just suits me very well in the way I turn my feet over. And with that dual density setup, you've got the kind of softer, springier layer on top and the firmer EVA material beneath that all just combines to create a foam that works very well at easy and fast paces. So you've got that softness there and it feels comfortable when you're moving at slow paces, but you can sink in and get that bounce back from this dual density midsole if you are going to run a bit quicker in the shoe. Puma has lots of shoes that have full nitro midsoles and they are very good shoes, but I think I actually prefer the dual density setup on the Velocity just for regular runs because it just gives you that really nice balance. As I mentioned in the design section, the grip is absolutely excellent on the Puma, and that's actually the case with the Nike as well, but it's probably even more of a standout on Puma. This Puma grip outsole we've been huge fans of in every shoe that's got it, and it does make it a very practical shoe for logging your daily training, especially in the winter months, or if you're someone who likes to stray onto park paths and that kind of thing, or light trails when you are out running. The Nike, you've got a setup I think that feels a bit more cushioned and focused on comfort. This React X foam is a bit squishier than the stuff on the Puma. It doesn't really give you quite as much back at faster paces, but you do get that slightly more kind of plush feel underfoot when running at easy paces. Forefoot feels a bit thinner on the Nike. They've got quite similar stack heights in general, but I think you you get a bit more of a snap through with the Pegasus than you do with the Velocity, and that can make the forefoot feel a bit thin at times, but it's not a shoe that I've had any kind of discomfort from. I probably prefer the feeling of the Velocity under the forefoot in particular. You've got that wider design on the Pegasus though, and it's a bit more stable and supportive, I would say. I noticed that in particular when I was running in both shoes at the same time. You've in general got a more comfortable feel with the Nike, with the upper being more padded and easier to slip into, and it hugs the foot in a slightly more comfortable way. You've got that slightly squishier feeling at the heel with this React-X foam, and then in general just a very comfortable and supportive ride from that wider design. The Puma is still comfortable, but you notice I think a bit more the kind of responsiveness of the foam for sure, and the upper doesn't feel quite as as plush as the one on the Nike. It feels a bit more dialed in, especially on the top of the foot where you have that quite thin tongue compared to the one on the Pegasus. When it comes to the verdict, I find that the Puma Velocity Nitro 3 is a more versatile daily trainer than the Pegasus 41, and I still find it really comfortable, add in the fact that it's cheaper, and it is the one I would go for. It suits me very well though, and it might not suit everyone quite as well. Like, I like the narrow design, I like the nimble feel, and I like the fact it has that extra versatility. Even in a daily trainer that I'd use, almost entirely for easy runs, I like the fact it has that light feel, that nimble feel. That means you can move a bit faster in it if you want to. I think some runners will definitely prefer the Pegasus though, because it is that wider, more accommodating shoe. It's more comfortable underfoot, and for those easy day-to-day runs, there'll be lots of runners who will prefer this shoe, I'd say. It's also a better looking shoe, which gives it a bit more versatility for use as a kind of casual shoe as well. And although I didn't find it a particularly versatile shoe and not as versatile as the Puma, it can do a little bit of speedy running as well. Like, it's not a complete slouch on that front. So there is a case for looking at the Pegasus, but I definitely prefer the Puma Velocity Nitro 3 myself. For me, the Velocity line has always had kind of Pegasus vibes from earlier days, when the Pegasus I think was a bit more of a versatile shoe. I think it's veered a bit more towards being cushioned and comfortable in recent years, and Velocity Nitro I think just really works as a great daily trainer that you can use for everything and still has that comfort, unless you're really aiming for that very luxurious and soft feel underfoot, in which case the Pegasus does that a little bit better. Although there are shoes beyond these two that are even more cushioned and comfortable, I still think these are both kind of still in that mid-level bracket in terms of cushioning compared to some of the really high stack cushion shoes out there. Another thing to note with both shoes is that they are both good value, I would say, and both of them are likely to pop up in sales. I think it's very rare that you'd have to pick up either one or both of these shoes at their RRP, so I'd certainly look out for discounts on both of them, which might level out the price a little bit and bring them both down below £100 at times. So yeah, good value in both. Overall, I prefer the Puma Velocity Nitro 3, but if you want that kind of wider, more accommodating and slightly more comfortable design in your daily trainer, I think the Pegasus 41 delivers that, whereas the Puma Velocity Nitro 3 is the more versatile all-round daily trainer, I would say. That's a comparison of the Pegasus 41 and the Puma Velocity Nitro 3. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Please do like and subscribe, ring the little bell, and we'll see you next time.